Hi, I'm Pat and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to install a dash cam in this 2006 Porsche Cayman S. If you're new to the channel, please click on the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I like producing cool car content and you're not going to want to miss it. AZDOME sent me out this dash cam, the M550, and I'm going to install this in my 2006 Porsche Cayman S that I recently picked up. Now, I needed a dash cam for this car, and when the company reached out to me and said, we want you to review this dash cam, I thought, well, this is the perfect opportunity. So this dash cam has the ability to not only see forward and back, but also in the cabin, so that I can record all kinds of events, especially when I'm at the track. And that's the reason I specifically want to install this in my car. But it may also be a good choice for you. Now I'm going to break this video into two sections. One, I'm going to actually do the installation here in the car. But if you're not interested in the installation for this specific car, you can watch my review of this dash cam in a separate part of the video. So be sure to check out the chapters in the bottom of this video so that you know exactly what you want to watch. And also be sure to check out the description. I'm going to have links there so it's easier for you to pick up this dash cam. They're there for your convenience. Let's get started with the unboxing. So what I have here is three different things. One is the hardwire kit. This allows me the ability to install it directly to the fuse panel without having to use the cigarette plug, but you can use that. We also have the box here that contains the cameras, and we also have this mount here that allows me to take and position that very rear view camera on the back glass of the car. So here the hardwire kit includes the wiring so that I can run this underneath the dash, and we could see here that we need to connect to three different sources. There's the actual battery, the accessory connection, so that's when the key is installed, as well as the ground. And we also have a ton of these little pigtails here, so if we wanted to connect directly into the fuse block, we can do so. And the nice thing about this is it also has little quick connectors here that go on these, so it makes it very simple to hardwire this kit. Next, let's take a look at what's in the box here. It is very well put together, a nice solid box. Then we have our owner's manual. We have the dash cam itself here. So this is the part that faces forward. This is the part that attaches to the windscreen. And here is a display on the very back side of it. And then inside we have our cigarette adapter, so if we wanted to use that, we could. We also have the rear-facing camera here with its cable as well. And in this package here, we also have, this is the cabin view, so you can actually adjust this. And this plugs into this part of the camera so that it's when it's mounted up on the dash, I can also record what's inside the cabin. And what's nice about this is that I can also remove it. I don't actually have to keep this installed in here. This is a very nice feature. Now over here we have the ability to plug in an SD card as well as the power. And of course here's our camera, and our GPS is built in here as well. So we also have a few other things, and these are little cable guides as well as a tool to help tuck our wire in behind the trim. We also have some hardware here, as well as this 64 gigabyte SD card that goes with the dash cam. And of course there's replacement 3M pads, double sticky pads here. So we're very well set up. So let's start with the disassembly of the car so that we can prepare for the installation of this camera. All right, so the first thing we're going to want to do here on the driver's side is locate the fuse panel, and behind that fuse panel are all our fuses. And what we want to do is be able to find which one of these fuses is powered all the time and which one is powered with accessory, because this dash cam has the ability to record when we're parked and the car's turned off. So we're going to go ahead and start to figure out which one of these we want to tap into, and then use our wire tap in order to connect to one of these fuses. So I'm going to take the negative probe and just connect it to the hinge area of the car, and I'm going to start probing to see exactly what produces 12 volts here. And I know that this one here in the end, this 15, is the cigarette lighter adapter socket. I looked that up here in the chart, and there we are. Yep. We're showing 16 volts here, so a little high, but you know that is what it is, what it's showing here in the vehicle. And So we need to find a switched one. And I know in another video, a gentleman used this 7.5 down here, and it's showing nothing right now. But if I put the key in and turn it one click, I should be able to place it here and now see, yep, same voltage. So I know that this 15 up here and this 7.5 down here are going to provide me with full-time battery and accessory. So here's the little chart, and this is contained inside the back of the enclosure that goes over top of the fuse panel. And I could see exactly where each fuse is located along with the description. So F10 is the cigarette lighter, so it's fuse number 10 in the first row. And then row C, fuse number 2 here, is a diagnosis connection. So those are the two that I'm going to use in order to full-time power and also provide accessory power. I'm also now going to remove the 3 Phillips head screws that allow me to get the trim away from this so that I can run wires behind the fuse block. So now that I've removed those pieces, I can actually pull the trim away from the fuse block area so that I can run my wires a little bit better. And so I just pulled down on the very bottom of it after I moved the floor mat, which I probably should have removed the floor mat first. And there are already some other wires in here, and that's because I had done a different installation here of some XM radio things that goes with the aftermarket head unit that's in the car. So now I can tuck those up and away. So I'm going to start by removing this fuse remover and come down to the 7.5, and I can pull that straight out. Then we're going to go ahead and take our tap. Now I've already installed the fuse that came along with the kit, and the fuse is connected to the part that's here, the red part. I'm going to take the 7.5 amp fuse that I just pulled and place that in here, and then that way it protects the circuit, but it also, this fuse protects what we're tapping. So then I can insert that directly into the area where the other fuse was. Then I can take this line and actually wrap it around the back so that when I reinstall the trim that's over here, this will be out of the way. I can then route these wires up and then into the area where I just made some room. Next, I'm going to do the same thing with this 15 amp fuse, and this has full-time power in it. So I'm going to go ahead and install this on the protected side of this fuse, tap, and then install it in place. Now we want to make sure that we slide the plastic cover over this because we don't want this touching ground and potentially shorting out the fuse that's already installed in here. There we are. So now both of these can be tucked behind that trim and they can be routed up. The next thing we need to do is secure the ground connection. I also have a plastic trim tool here, and there'll be a link in the description if you'd like to pick a set of these up as well. And I'm going to use that in order to pry this area so that I have better access to the path that I need in order to run the wiring. In order to get this out completely, I do have to remove the weather stripping. There we go. Nice and easy. We're going to need to remove the weather stripping anyway to get to the A-pillar. Now for my ground connection, I actually want to use this hidden bolt that's here. And I've already taken my voltmeter and hooked it up here. I'm going to go ahead and touch that bolt with this and make sure, yep, we sure do have power there, so I can secure my ground to that bolt. And then when I put this trim piece over, you'll never see it. So this bolt is a 13 millimeter, so I can go ahead and loosen this up and go ahead and insert the pigtail for the ground side. So here's our hardwire kit, and here's our pigtail here, this little black one with the gold piece on the end. That's going to go ahead and slip over that bolt that's up there. We can also see we have labels here at the bottom. So the red one is accessory, the yellow one is battery. So we're going to end up connecting this red one to our accessory lead and then the battery to our full-time lead. So I've gone ahead and made my connections here. I did have to strip off a little bit of the black insulation in order to make them longer, but they're ready to go. So now I have the hardwire kit here, and of course I have the dash cam. Now up here on this mount, the GPS part of it, this is where we plug in our power connection. And of course we're not going to get anything right away. I'm going to go ahead and put the car in accessory mode. And of course we have power. So we know this is lit up, we know that this is going to operate perfectly, and it's doing exactly what it needs to do. So before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this and of course start to run the wires to where they need to be, knowing that it is set up exactly the way it's supposed to be. I've already run the part of the wire that I need to get to the actual dash cam through this part of the car, so that when I pull it through here and make it longer, I can then take and tuck it up into the A-pillar and then underneath the headliner to the middle part. But in order to get this off, I need to remove the rest of the weather stripping. So I'm just going to continue to pull down on this until I get to the very back. And now I have access to the actual A-pillar. Now back here, and I'm going to need to remove this area anyway, there is a gap, and I'll put a little bit more light on this so we can see it. So here's our gap here. This is where the back part of the plastic and the front part that goes to the A-pillar are connected. I'm going to stick my trim tool in here. There are 3 different quick disconnects that are behind here that will allow me to get this A-pillar starting to move this way. This part of the A-pillar trim goes underneath the back part. And there we are. Once I got my trim piece in there, I was able to pull it down, and you could see there's 3 there if you can't see them. So our next thing to do is to remove this straight down, and of course towards the front here we want to pull straight back, and this will give us more room in order to run that wire. So I'm going to take this part off by slowly pulling down gently, and we can start to see that we're loosening up all the clips here. So as we work our way back, we can loosen this up, and the same for up here. I'm going to go ahead and put the camera down so I can do this two-handed. Okay, so I went ahead and just pulled it away, and that's all I really need to do, is I need to be able to access this part so I can then tuck the wire and get it up underneath the headliner. Now I have this little microphone that's here. That's because the previous owner had installed an aftermarket head unit, which includes the Bluetooth, so I can actually talk on the road, which is cool. But yeah, it's pretty far away from the car. There's a big gap here. And I'm going to leave this open as well because, of course, I have to run the rear camera, and I'm going to put that on the back glass. So having this open and available is exactly what I need to do. So I'm going to take and I'm going to pull this cable up through here and then guide it in underneath the headliner, and then figure out exactly where I want to mount my dash cam. All right, so I just took the wire and draped it over the mirror for right now. And here's our unit. I just went ahead and took the defaults, at least for the setup. I can go ahead and install the key in here and switch to accessory, and we should get a start here on the unit, which we do. And at this point, I can decide where I want to position it for the best view. Oh, it wants me to format the SD card, so I'm going to go ahead and select OK. All right, so now we're good to go. It is recording. So if I put it up here up along the headliner, I can get it really close. I can still get a good view of the front. I can still see me in this part of the screen. So I know that'll work. And there is a part to this kit, this clear thing here. So this has a dotted line on it. You would stick this on the glass, and then you would stick the camera to this. I don't necessarily need to do that. In fact, this is a little bit too big to do that up here. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to actually mount it here. So I'm going to go ahead and start tucking my wire along. And I also need to install the rear-facing camera, and that's going to go back here so that we can see what's behind us. Now, just for testing purposes, I went ahead and installed the rear camera here. We could see there's a second image there on the bottom right. So I just ran this quickly through the center of the car. Let me show you what it looks like on the back. So I used the kit that allows us to install it inside the vehicle, because this is actually an external camera, but I just slid it in. So here is the kit, and we're actually able to bolt the camera onto the inside glass mounting kit. And so I just jammed that in this piece of molding right now as a test, but I'll either want to mount it here on the glass or here on the frame, and then I need to tuck this wire underneath and then up front through what I removed, which is the A-pillar trim. So I'm going to go ahead and just mount this pretty close to where I want to put it, just tuck it in for right now, run the wiring up, and then verify that everything is okay before I actually connect everything to the car. So I went ahead and decided to go ahead and tuck all the cables up and put all my trim back in. So here's our rear camera. It's just slid underneath the trim piece for right now. I haven't yet mounted it, but decided on mounting the dash cam up here. So I could press the power button, and then I could see, you know, here's our forward look, here's our look inside the cabin, and then down here is our look behind. And if I cycle using the down button here, we could see all the different cameras. So it cycles through okay, and it is up out of the way. I can now even adjust my mirror without any problems. And if I want to turn this display off, I just quickly press the power button and it goes off. So let's take a look at it from the outside. And we really don't see very much of it. It's right here, it's obvious, but as you step further away, it's harder to see it because it's tucked up so high. And I thought about putting it down near the bottom of the mirror, but ultimately I'm pretty happy with the installation the way it is. And of course, I have the back glass tinted here, so we really can't see that back camera that well, but there it is for right now. And I'm going to go ahead and decide whether I want to mount it on the plastic piece or on the tint, because I just got this tinted. I don't know if I really want to mount it on the tint, but I did tuck the cable underneath here and am able to easily keep it set up cleanly and out of the way with no issues at all. So there it is, it's installed. So let's go through the process now of testing it, and I'm going to connect to the app on the phone and also do some driving down the road in this next segment. So I'm back after a few days of reviewing this camera, and I'm back in the car here in the Porsche Cayman S. It's a little bit of a sunny day here, it's a little bright, but we do have the dash cam here in the car. I'm going to walk through some of the settings and features and my review on the camera because I think it's really nice. So if I go ahead and turn the car to on, it's going to go ahead and start the actual dash cam. And there we go. We're already seeing information. We got what's in front of us, what's behind us, and the view here in the cabin. If I hit this down arrow once, then it will change and cycle through each of the different views. So if I want to see me, if I want to see forward, I want to see backward, I can do that. So right now I'm just going to have it set so I can see everything. If I'm driving and this is too bright, I just press the power button really quick and it goes ahead and turns the screen off. If I press it again, it turns it back on. If I press and held this power button, it would actually turn the unit off, and I don't want to do that right now. So definitely check out the user manual because it has a lot of information about what you see here on the screen. Specifically, I could see that the microphone is working, that's yellow, so it's recording what's happening inside. I could see that I'm recording video of the flashing red here. And of course, you get other data here at the bottom, like your speed, as well as whether or not your Wi-Fi is on, etc. So before I go in and make any changes to the camera settings, if I press this OK button right here in the middle, this turns recording off, and then I can hit the M button, and it'll take me right into the settings. So if I hit let's say I want to go into date time. So if I come down and then press OK, I can go in and change the date and time using the up and down arrows. I'm just going to cycle through this because this is correct. And it brings us back to the main screen. Same with, let's say, park mode. If I hit center, I can disconnect or connect that. I'm not going to mess around with that, so I'm just going to leave that OK. I can have parking monitor turned on. OK. If I hit the M button, it'll take me back. Very cool. So as we're tapping up and down here using these up and down buttons, we can even go in and see playback information if we wanted to play any type of videos. So the M button will take me back. Let's go to movie. Let's just see what's in there. Here we could change our resolution, for example. I currently have the resolution set to the highest. M button will take me back. Same with loop recording. We want to set the loop recording. By default, it's going to be 3 minutes. This means it's going to create 3-minute files and overwrite itself over time, which is great. I want to leave that alone. Hit M. We could come down here and turn the rear camera to mirror. If I turn this on or off, it displays backwards. So right now I have it set up to be mirrored, exactly like I would be if I had my mirror here in my car. So I can continue to go down and look at some of the other settings. Motion detection. You don't want to have this on when you're actually driving. Leave that alone. Time-lapse record. If you change this here to time-lapse on, it'll record images and it will not record real-time video, but like staggered video. So I usually leave this alone. I come down here, I can change the audio, turn the audio off, etc. So there's a lot of different settings here you can play around with. Here's our G sensor, of course. It's set to low for me. You can also set it to high. You can go down here, change it, hit OK. Now it's already set to high. So a lot of different settings, things for you to play around with, which I really like. So if we go in here to System,
We do have the fatigue reminding driving reminder. I don't use that, but this is where you want to change your speed unit. So if you're in a different country where you're using miles per hour versus kilometers per hour, that's where you want to save that. I turned the beep sound off, but if I turn it on and now I start cycling through, I'm getting beeping. I just don't like to hear the beep. So we could change our screensaver time, the infrared LED for this inside camera that's over here on the right. This is great because at night it will actually use infrared in order to light up the cabin, and I can't see it by my eye. Change your time zone, change your defaults, and even go in here and see what your GPS looks like. So here's all the GPSs that I'm currently picking up. This is terrific. This gives me great accuracy. So anytime I hit M, I come back out. So this is really cool. Let's go all the way back out to here, and I'm going to turn recording back on by hitting the OK button. That's good to go. If I want to make any connection to Wi-Fi, which I will use my cell phone to connect to this, I'm going to go ahead and press and hold this down arrow button. It immediately takes me into Wi-Fi. So I currently have my password up here. I'm going to blur that out so you can't see that. Or if I go into the app, I can actually make some changes or download some of the videos. So let's take a look at that. And go into my internet and then connect to my Wi-Fi here on my cell phone. So I see here that the dash cam is available. It's going to obtain the IP address, and that'll give me the ability to connect using the app. And now I could search on my phone for AZDOME, and I could launch the app directly from my phone, and it should connect directly up to the camera. So if I hit the M550, now I am connected to the camera. So I have to hit stop here because it's recording. Now I can go into device albums, and I can see all the photos or videos that have been recorded. In this case, it's videos. So I can actually pick one of these videos and play it back. Any type of settings I want. This is really cool, and you do have the ability to save these things. So let's say I go into my last recording. I'm going to go ahead and turn the volume all the way down. So there's a button down here at the bottom, download, and it's going to initiate a download. Now this does take some time, so it's taking a little bit of time to be able to pull that video down, but once it's down, it's now on my device here, and I'm able to access it or do anything I want with it. So if you do happen to get in an accident or a collision and you want to be able to save that information, you could do it right here from the car without having to worry about that being overwritten on the actual dash cam itself. All right, I've been testing this dash cam in the Porsche Cayman S here for about 2 whole months. I absolutely love this dash cam, and it really didn't give me any issues the whole time that I had it. What's really cool about it is its ability to get the front view camera crystal clear in all weather. So I wanted to make sure that I took it out in bad weather. So if it was raining, nighttime, windshield wiper going, I wanted to see exactly how it would perform, and it really exceeded my expectations. I've been very, very happy with it in the Porsche Cayman S. I would recommend it almost for any of my cars. So I might have a new car coming to the channel, and I know that I'm going to actually be purchasing one of these for that car. So I want to share with you some footage of what it looks like when I'm driving around at night with the headlights on, with the rain coming down, so you can see the clarity of exactly what it looks like when I'm recording this. So we also have the internal view of the cabin, and we also have the view out the back of the car as well. But in addition to that, we have the parking mode. So what was really cool about this is being able to just park the car, and the wiring module that I installed in here to hardwire it, well, that doesn't allow the camera to drain enough power that it'll cause the battery to go dead in the car, which is perfect. I absolutely love that. So during the times when the car was parked, it was able to record anything that was going on when I wasn't near the car. Now, the camera will record about 24 hours worth of footage before it overwrites it, before that loop occurs. And I was able to take the SD card out of this and put it into my computer, and it loads up just like another drive, which is excellent. So let me cut over to my friend Andrew. He was so impressed with the dash cam in my car that he just went out and bought it and installed it in his. I think he was really impressed. What do you think? So I brought the Porsche down here to my buddy's Andrew's place. Now Andrew has a Prius, but he also installed the same dash cam in his car. After I started talking about it, he was pretty excited, and he said, you know what, I'm just going to order it. So he did an install the same time I did my install, and he started using it about the same time, so he has some experience with the camera. So how hard was it to install in your car?
So it really wasn't that hard. I just took me about, I don't know, half an hour to do it. I've done them before. The reason why I particularly put this one in is because, well, my friend here got one, so I decided to check it out and decided to buy one and check it out. And so far, I'm really in love with it. The most thing I really like about it is that you can go actually online with the app, Wi-Fi, and go and check out all your videos on it if you need to get for a police officer or something like that if you get pulled over.
That's
for
awesome.
Identification.
Let's see where you have it installed, because I put mine up closer to the top of the headliner.
So I have it up on the glass there, facing me. Didn't take long. I ran the wires. Now this is not hard wire, so I just got it hooked up into the cigarette lighter down at the bottom there.
Okay.
But I do want to hard wire it too. So I ran the wires up and covered everything and ran it back down through the underneath carriage here, underneath the dash, and then plugged into my cigarette lighter.
That's clean. That's really clean.
Now the back camera is going back down through the side here, all the way back.
Could you show us where that's mounted?
Yes. So it comes back through here. And I got the camera right back on the back here on the lower part, sitting on the ridge there. I have it set on the bottom there,
nice.
just on the ridge there. And you know, I just used two-sided Gorilla Tape. That's all I used.
Yeah, that's a great setup. You know what? That seems a lot easier to do in his car than my car. He has a little bit more room, actually. Even though the car is small, he's got a lot more room in this Prius to do things. I've sat in his car before, so I know what it's like. Compared to the Porsche, I had to do a lot more movement of trim and things in order to get that to set up the way I liked it.
So the best thing I do like about this camera is I've never seen with the Wi-Fi where you can actually take the app. I can't remember the app. Do you remember the app is?
Yeah, it's the AZDOME app that comes with it.
AZDOME,
So you
yes.
download that online through the Play Store or if your Apple Store or whatever.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. I've never seen that before. And it also has GPS, which I really like too. That's, some cameras come with it, some don't. This one does, and I really like that because it takes your miles per hour. If you need to get pulled over, you got proof of it to go take it to court.
Yeah, proof, because you know I never exceed the speed limit, right?
No, we all don't.
We obey the law here.
Yeah, we are all innocent. Proven guilty.
All right, thanks, Andrew. So I want to thank AZDOME for sending me this product out. I'm very, very happy with it, and they've provided some links that I put in the description below so that you can purchase one at your convenience. So that wraps up today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, link in the description below for how to acquire this dash cam and the hard wiring kit. I've been thoroughly impressed with it. I'm gonna definitely pick up more of these kinds of dash cams for my other vehicles when I start to purchase more cars for the garage. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please click on the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I like producing cool car content, and you're not gonna wanna miss it. Thanks for watching, and happy motoring.